Good morning, students. In that previous class, we have discussed about the rabbit type study, under which we have discussed about a part of the digestive system in rabbit. Today, let me continue with that digestive system, and after that, we will discuss about respiratory system in rabbit. Now, continuation of that previous class, because in that previous class we have discussed about mouth and buccal cavity or the oral cavity. So after that mouth we will have to discuss about this pharynx. So the buccal cavity merges behind into a short narrow chamber, the pharynx. It has three divisions like nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. So depending upon the region which is closely associated with this pharynx, these divisions are named like that. Anteriorly, the nasopharynx communicates with the nasal chambers through the internal nostrils, while laterally it has a pair of oval eustachian openings which connects to the tympanic cavities. And just behind the tongue, the floor of the laryngopharynx carries a median vertical slit, the glottis, leading to the larynx. So glottis is the opening present between pharynx and larynx. And this glottis is guarded by a bilobed thin cartilaginous flap called epiglottis. And during swallowing, it covers the glottis and prevents the entry of food into it. However, when there is no food in the buccal cavity, this will be automatically kept open. And the laryngopharynx leads posteriorly into the esophagus through a wide aperture called the gullet. So gullet is the opening present between pharynx and the esophagus, that is the food pipe. Now esophagus. It is a long, narrow, elastic and muscular tube, and it runs right down through the neck, dorsal and parallel to the trachea. So it is present parallel or close to the trachea, that is windpipe. And it traverses the thorax, dorsal to the heart and lungs and somewhat to the left of the median plane. And after piercing the diaphragm, it enters the abdomen and joins the stomach through its concave side. The inner wall of esophagus is raised into several longitudinal folds which helps in the movement of food mass. Coming to the next division, stomach. It is the broadest part of the alimentary canal, and it is been shaped and has divisions like cardiac stomach and pyloric stomach. It performs three functions like storage of food, mechanical churning of food and partial digestion of food. Next division, small intestine. It is a long, narrow and much convoluted tube made of three parts, that is duodenum, jejunum and ileum. The first part of small intestine, duodenum. It is the first and smallest part of the small intestine, and it receives bile duct and pancreatic duct like in human digestive system, and its wall consists of a number of intestinal glands and Brennus glands. Coming to jejunum and ileum. There is no clear morphological distinction between the two, but there are some histological differences. That is why these are being placed together here. Both are more than 2 meters long, greatly coiled, and held to abdominal wall by fan-shaped folds called mesenteries. Their internal lining is raised into a number of minute finger-like processes called villi, like in human alimentary canal. It increases the absorptive surface, and the distal end of the ileum is expanded to form a small spherical sac called the sacculus rotundus, which you have already seen in the diagram of that digestive system of rabbit. And this sacculus rotundus opens into the cecum through an ileocecal valve, and the digestion of food gets completed in small intestine, and the end products are absorbed. Coming to next division, cecum. At the junction of ileum and colon is present a wide, long and thin walled tube, the cecum. And its terminal end ends in a small, about 15 centimeter long, narrow, thick walled blind tube, the vermiform appendix. And it is responsible for the digestion of cellulose content of the food mass due to the presence of bacteria in it. So, this vermiform appendix, it has a chief role in the digestion of cellulose content of the food that this rabbit consumes. Then coming to large intestine. It is more than 1 meter long and consists of two divisions, that is colon and rectum. Colon is a wide tube with a length of about 45 centimeters and is regularly constricted or sacculated. Coming to rectum, it is a narrow terminal part with a length of about 75 centimeters and the fecal pellets inside gives it a beaded appearance. So the fecal matter in the rectum portion of this rabbit digestive system, especially in the rectum region, it is present in the form of small pellets, because of which the rectum appears to be beaded in nature. Next is anus. The rectum opens to the outside through anus, situated at the base of the tail, and it is guarded by anal sphincters. Then digestive glands. The glands associated with the digestive system are mucus, salivary glands, gastric glands, liver, pancreas, and intestinal glands. Then food of rabbit. Rabbit is a herbivorous animal, as you know, and its food includes grasses, green leaves, vegetables, cereals, roots, and barks of the trees, etc. Coming to the respiratory system. As rabbit is a terrestrial animal, it exhibits pulmonary respiration, and the respiratory system has two divisions, that is air conducting system or respiratory tract and essential system or respiratory organs called lungs. Coming to the first division, respiratory tract. It serves as a passage for the entry of fresh air into the respiratory organs and the exit of the air after gaseous exchange. It includes the following parts, the first one being external nares or nostrils. These are the paired openings present near the fleshy tip of the snout, and fresh air is drawn through them. Then nasal chambers. These are the chambers present next to the external nostrils, which we call it otherwise as nasal cavities, and they are separated by a median vertical bony septum called nasal septum. The internal surface of these chambers is lined by vascular mucous epithelium that serves as olfactory organs, that is sense of smell. And they also help in respiration by acting as an air filter or conditioner. The air passing through them becomes moist and warm, and the air is filtered by hair, which prevents the large dust particles, like in human nasal cavities also. Then internal nostrils or nasopharynx. Posteriorly, the two nasal chambers open through the internal nares or the nostrils into the nasopharynx and present dorsally above the soft palate. The nasopharynx communicates behind with the laryngopharynx. Then glottis. As I already told you that on the floor of the laryngopharynx lies a median vertical slit-like aperture of larynx, that is glottis. It is covered by a special cartilaginous bilobed flap of skin, the epiglottis. It prevents the entry of food into the larynx during swallowing of food. Coming to larynx, it is a small semi-rigid expanded chamber at the top or the upper end of the windpipe or trachea. Its wall is supported by four cartilaginous pieces, that is thyroid cartilage, cricoid cartilage, and a pair of arytenoid cartilage. So the same type of structures are present even in the larynx of the human body. Coming to next division, trachea. From the posterior end of the larynx, extends a long tube, the windpipe or trachea. It runs down the neck beneath the esophagus, and the basal end of trachea divides into two primary bronchi or right and left branchial tube. Each bronchus enters into respective lungs. That is, the right bronchus enters the right lung and the left bronchus enters the left lung. The trachea and the two primary bronchi are supported by numerous C-shaped cartilaginous rings which provide flexibility and keep the passage open by preventing their collapse. The trachea, bronchus and bronchioles are internally lined by ciliated mucous epithelium, and the mucus keeps the surface moist and slimy and also traps bacteria and dust particles. At the beginning itself, that is in the nasal chambers or the nasal cavities, there will be some filtration of the large dust particles. But here in this tracheal region, because of this mucus secretion, the finer dust particles are going to be trapped. So in that way, the purified air reaches the lungs for the purpose of respiration. Coming to respiratory organs, that is lungs. Lungs are the paired essential organs of respiration, placed on either side of the heart in the thoracic cavity. Each lung is enclosed in a lateral airtight compartment of thoracic cavity called pleural cavity. Each lung receives a bronchus, a pulmonary artery, a pulmonary vein and nerves. The pleural cavity enclosed by peritoneum and contains a watery lubricating fluid or the liquid called pleural fluid. So this pleural fluid, as I already told you in one of my previous slides, it will be responsible for avoiding the friction between the two layers of the lungs, that is parietal pleura and visceral pleura. And the lungs are pink colored, soft, spongy, elastic and highly vascular organs. The right lung contains four lobes, namely the anterior, azygous, right anterior and right posterior. Well, the left lung has only two lobes, that is left anterior and left posterior. So four lobes can be seen in the right lung and only two lungs can be seen in the left lung. After entering the respective lung, the primary bronchus divides repeatedly into smaller secondary and tertiary bronchi. The terminal bronchioles are called respiratory bronchioles, which lack the cartilaginous rings. And each terminal bronchiole divides into still finer branches called alveolar ducts. And each alveolar duct terminates into several branching delicate blind air sacs or alveoli, which appear like a cluster of miniature grapes. And it is these millions of alveoli that provide a great surface area for gaseous exchange, and it occurs by diffusion between the alveolar air and the blood passing through the capillaries. So it's very clear now that each bronchus, after entering the respective lung, it divides into the first order branchings called primary bronchioles, and each primary bronchiole divides to produce secondary bronchioles, and secondary into tertiary, tertiary into respiratory, and respiratory into alveolar ducts. So as it looks like a tree branches, hence the system is also called the respiratory tree. So this will be the diagram showing you the respiratory system in case of this rabbit body. As you see here, this is what epiglottis, and this epiglottis is the covering which covers the opening called glottis, and this whole structure is what is referred to as larynx. And below larynx, as you see here, there will be the windpipe or what is called as trachea, and that trachea continues as bronchus, and that bronchus divides into two that is right bronchus and left bronchus. And as I already explained to you, each bronchus after enters the respective lung, it divides further into several branches, and the initial branches are called primary bronchioles. Primary bronchioles leads to secondary, secondary leads to tertiary, and tertiary leads to respiratory, and respiratory bronchiole leads to alveolar duct, and each alveolar duct leads to several grape bunch like projections called alveoli or alveolar sacs. And in the previous slide itself, I had told you that there are 4 lobes can be seen in the right lung. So that is anterior azygous lobe, and right anterior lobe, and right posterior lobe, and posterior azygous lobe. So 4 lobes, distinct lobes can be seen in the right lung, whereas in the left lung you will see only the 2 lobes, that is left anterior lobe and left posterior lobe. So these are all some important features of the respiratory system in rabbit body. And this is about the another diagram showing only the respiratory part, that is the lungs and its associated structures, and the details of which I already explained you in the previous slide. So this diagram is for your additional information. So with this I have completed this respiratory system in rabbit. So thank you.